and welcome to Quantum Canine. Hi,
Good morning
Kevin.
again. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great. We are going to start the show off today with a video question. And we gathered these video questions at Gallery Walk in Brattleboro. And so we're just going to sock it to you. We're not going to tell you what the question is, and we're just going to put you on the spot with it.
Okay.
So we'll roll that video question.
Spencer, greyhounds are kind of notoriously kind of skittish, and so you're supposed to, after you adopt them, you're supposed to bring them out into the public to kind of get them used to being around people and situations like this, because they've been crated for all the years that they've been racing. But he really is a really nervous Nelly, and I'm wondering if I mean, I actually feel guilty. I feel bad that I'm kind of forcing him into this situation, and I wonder if that's still an okay thing.
Well, that was a very, very good question, and you can answer it on many different levels, but I'll let you take a shot at it.
Yeah, the problem for her is she doesn't understand why her dog is nervous. So actually, I like to talk about the greyhound. People think the greyhound is so sweet and loving, docile and gentle, and so easy to live with, amenable, because it's grateful it was rescued from the track.
This is how they see it.
That's how they see it.
Okay.
And conversely, in addition to that, they tend to be very nervous. But the reason is because they're bunny hunters. The prey is in the predator. So whatever the animal evolved was selectively bred to hunt, it takes on the characteristics of that prey.
I see. So it's skittish like a bunny.
Right. So bunnies are the epitome of soft, and everyone wants to hug a bunny. So these dogs are very gentle, demure, but it's not because they're grateful. It's because they're bunny hunters. So they take on the quality of the bunny, because you can't hunt the thing unless you are the thing.
And what about the premise that in order to make the dog more social, you need to socialize it?
A lot of what goes for socialization is really social brutalization. If the dog's not having a good experience, then it's not socializing. So what I was beginning to say with the woman is she doesn't understand the nature of her dog's apprehension, which is ungrounded energy. So the dog is getting more sensory input than it can process. And again, this goes back to its breeding, because it's bred to have the flight instinct of a bunny. That's how it can anticipate what the bunny's going to do and get a bunny as a sight hound. That's why Shelties are a lot more skittish than German Shepherds, because they herd ducks and birds, whereas the Shepherd herds sheep. And why the Rottweiler has even higher threshold than a Shepherd, because he's a cow dog.
I see.
So whatever they were selectively bred to work, they are attuning their nervous system to that flight thing, because that's the most important characteristic of the prey, is its flight thresholds.
So what would you tell this greyhound owner to make her dog more comfortable?
Well, it goes back to what you were doing with your hero puppy, is the act of ingestion is grounding of energy, and that makes an animal feel safe. So I would take her to the peripheries of those kinds of high traffic places and see if the dog's interested in food. In fact, if she has to take the dog out in public, which we do from time to time, she should go on a period of training where she only feeds it out of the familiar territory. It doesn't have to be in the middle of Brattleboro. It could start with just driving to an empty parking lot.
Because that's enough for that dog, because the dog is so nervous?
Yeah, it'd be like you have to acclimate a bunny.
Right.
Very slowly. You're not going to just flood it.
So just taking the dog into Gallery Walk in Brattleboro is just totally shutting the dog down.
Exactly.
Right?
It's not giving
overwhelming it.
Exactly, and it'll make it worse.
Now, we're going to talk more about grounding energy when we go to our topic of the day.
Yep.
And when you say grounding energy, sometimes it sounds like it's some sort of esoteric idea, but it is really any more complicated than when there's a river and we build a dam and we harness that energy to have a hydroelectric plant. Yeah. Right? That's harnessing, channeling energy, right?
As long as the energy that's captured can go to ground, it's
So what
safe.
does that mean?
Well, if energy, like the river stays within the channel, it's safe.
Right, okay, okay.
If the electrons go to the ground, then they'll move, and that's safe. But it's when the channel breaks is when there's danger.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
But let me just answer germane to what does that mean in terms of behavior.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Right, there's two brains. The big brain in the head is concerned with balance, so it generates a ton of neurochemical electromagnetic energy. And the little brain in the gut digests that. So if that energy, which is like a static electric, can be turned into a smooth wave function, just like the intestines are smoothly moving, the animal feels grounded, i.e. the ground feels safe beneath its feet.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit of a light bulb here. The reason that eating is grounding, and the reason why she would take the greyhound to a parking lot and feed it, is because it's going through that other brain in the gut.
Exactly.
And so that is what's grounding the energy.
Right.
So some people, they say, well, you're just rewarding the dog, you're feeding the dog, and the dog's just eating, and it doesn't mean anything. But you're saying actually going through the digestive system is the way a dog grounds energy. Is it one of the ways, or is it
the only way?
It's the only way.
Absolutely only way. It can happen through other senses, but the most primal way to affect it is through hunger. And I like to give the example, if you go to someone's house and they offer you food and drink, you feel received, i.e. grounded.
Right.
So for an animal, in our animal mind, any act of ingestion, which is primarily grabbing with our mouth, with the mouth in the case of a dog, hopefully, but with babies, it is grabbing with the mouth.
True. Yes.
So any act of ingestion makes us feel calm, grounded. So I actually mean it literally, and that then satisfies the big brain in the head, which is primarily concerned about balance. And if that big brain is satisfied because its energy is being grounded in the gut, the animal actually perceives its setting as safe and balanced. So her dog is getting more and more overloaded, and it's getting more input into the brain that can't get down to the gut.
And she can socialize it for the end of time, and it's never going to feel grounded.
Yes, because she's making it more and more ungrounded.
Right, but every time she takes it there.
Exactly. But if it'll take food, and we do this exercise called pushing, if it actually fight for the food in a moment of total hectic, then it is channeling all that so-called hectic energy into feeling safe.
And do you think is that possible with a greyhound?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
every animal's hungry.
Okay, great.
There's you often hear that dogs aren't food motivated, or this dog isn't food motivated relative to that dog, but I like to point out that every personality trait in the wild, every wolf, no matter which kind of personality they have, they're all hungry.
Right, they all want that moose.
Yeah.
Great. All right, we'll take a short break for a sponsor break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about grounding energy and exactly what that looks like with your dog Hessian.
One Stop Pet in Brattleboro, Vermont is a proud sponsor of Quantum Canine. Do you need something for grounding energy or inciting the prey drive? Or do you need to work with the hunger balance circuit? You can even find gifts for your favorite lady. And there's always someone to lend a hand. One Stop Pet is a proud sponsor of Quantum Canine.
Thanks for that. That's really silly. Okay, so we're going to show a clip of you working with your dog Hessian.
Right.
And he's a really big German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And you're going to show how to ground chicken energy in the same way that woman with a greyhound would be grounding all that human activity.
Yes, it's all the same problem.
At the street fair, whatever it is.
Right. There's only one problem to solve: grounding energy. We, as the owner, want to be the ground.
We want to be the ground.
Right. You don't want to be the leader. You want to be the ground.
Okay. Well, we'll show that clip and see what it looks like.
All right, so here we are on location. The objective today is to teach a dog, as part of a process, teaching him not to kill the chickens.
Not to kill the chickens.
Right. Now, it's easy enough to correct a dog and scare him out of killing the chickens. That's possible. Problem with that is it always has an unintended side effect.
It comes out somewhere else.
It'll come out somewhere else. And the dog, I have this fantasy. I want the dog to actually comprehend what I want. So we want to reduce the problem to its essential first principles. So 5 million years of evolution tells the dog he should kill the chickens. And I don't think I can come along in my infinite wisdom and arbitrarily decree, no, that's all wrong. Leave the chickens.
You don't want to kill the chickens.
Right. So what I have to do is give the same gratification, but in an appropriate way. and I'll do it. So there's only one question for the dog to solve. What do I do with my energy? 5 million years of instinct says I should be really excited about those chickens. Left to his own demise, you put him in the thing, when beginning of training, he would kill every chicken. So that's the way it is. And this dog is bred for intense, super intense working drive. So I don't want to train him not to kill the chickens at the expense of his character, at the expense of his drive. So I want to teach him what to do with his energy in the chicken yard. That the chickens aren't the ground, if you will. I am the ground.
You are going to tell him what to do with his energy.
Right. I'm going to be the answer to his problem. He's got 200,000 volts of energy in his system, and I'm going to be 200,000 volts of gratification. Therefore, he sees the chickens, he's attracted to me. I'm also going to give him the essence of chicken, which is an egg. So every day we go in and he hunts around for an egg. And that becomes what hunting for chickens is like. And the chickens are flying every which way, and he tunes it out. He gets his egg, and I have him hustle out.
So most people, they have the dog go in the chicken yard and they correct it for killing a chicken.
Right.
What you're saying is you're working with the dog's drive, actually the desire to kill a chicken. You're saying that's good.
Right.
But you're not going to let him kill the chicken.
Right.
You're going to redirect that drive to you.
Right. So I'm turning prey instinct, if you will, which is millions of years old, into prey drive, which is be in harmony with every element in the moment. The chickens, the handler, and the dog's emotional waterworks as well.
And this dog is a very, very strong dog, and he's got a really strong nature and a very strong prey drive.
Right, right.
And so we'll take Hessian into the chicken yard and watch the magic.
Retrace my steps. Step 1, pushing in the chicken yard. Step 2, eating around the chickens once I solve the energy formula. And then step 3 will be running around with the chickens looking for the egg, which is the daily payoff now. All right, so first we start on leash. You put your dog on a leash, take him into the chicken pen yard. Protect the chickens, hold his head up. Out, good boy, yeah, did you get that? So step 1, lots of chickens, energy. So you want to get a good push, ready? Come on, oh yeah, this is what you're supposed to do with the chickens. Give me all that energy. Gimme. Yeah, get, good dog. Gimme, down, nice, down, good. So then you get that. Now we want to see chickies. Stay. Because I gave him the energy, stay. It's really good if your dog is interested in food when the prey instinct's cooking. That's how you turn prey instinct to prey drive. Stay. So he got a chance to smell the chickens. Stay! Now he's able to take input. I want to see, stay, if the push is really strong. Ready? Hup. Yeah! Oh, fine! Good dog. Okay. Then you want to see if you can refine it. Ready? Hey, oh, let's go. Right there. Come on. Good boy. Now can you get a bark? Speed. Come on. Now that's paralysis from prey instinct. Come on. Speed. Yeah, there we go. Then he's letting out the intensity. Speed. Yeah, speed. Good. Now I want to see if he'll bite prey object. Excuse me, second. Yeah, so 5 million years. What would killing a chicken feel like? He'd have something really squishy in his jaws. He'd have something to bite. Yeah, good. Ready? Get it. Yeah, get it. Good. Out. Now we want him to get a little action with the chickies running. Go get it. Go get it. Attaboy. Good. Hup, hup. Come on. Here. Yeah, good dog. Good dog. Hup. Here. Hup. Come on. Come on. Yeah, good dog. Ready? Now I'm going to hide an egg. Let's let him out for a second. Okay. Right in. Next egg. I'm going to tuck an egg a little bit someplace new each time. Take a little while to find it. The chickie's in the zone. Okay, now I go to the gate. Ready? Find it. Get the egg. Find it. And I'm sure chicken poop is good for me. Find it. It's in a new place. Those are the familiar hiding spots. I hide a new spot, just in the interest of privacy. Usually I have them search for 10 minutes, but we'll just pick it up. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Good boy, find it. Find it. Yeah, good. Okay, come on, up, up, up. Now let's break a race out. Yeah, boy. Everybody gets what they want.
That's great. He's a great dog.
Yeah.
So, you know, you talked about a bunch of things in that clip. You talked about the prey instinct and the prey drive. But I think for the average dog owner, the real difference is you're not telling him not to do something.
Right.
You're telling him what to do.
And you could put it this way, I'm telling him I am the answer to his problem. Give me your energy. But I'm also teaching him this is what killing a chicken feels like.
Because
playing with me.
It doesn't matter to him whether he kills one or
exactly.
not.
If
right.
he's got 200,000 volts of input and 200,000 volts get grounded through me, it doesn't matter to him that he didn't get that chicken.
Because it felt like he did.
It felt like he hit the stop signal. That's why I like to throw the egg in there, because it's the essence of the chicken, and it does indeed get to his gut.
Right, he actually grounds it through the
exactly.
digestive system like we were talking about before.
Right, so I mean, I don't go to that trouble anymore. I just open the door, he goes in, and I get the eggs, and then I like to hide an egg. I'll maybe make him lay down, hide an egg, the chickens are flying out, and the best part is once in a while he'll put a chicken to flight, and he won't go after it.
Because you've done this many times.
Exactly, and it's fun once in a while to put a chicken up.
Right.
So I didn't take any energy out of the way from the dog. I didn't hurt his spirit. I didn't not break his drive. I channeled his drive, and I actually resolved 5 million years of instinct into a new way of dealing with chickens.
So you gave him the answer before you just gave him a problem to solve all on his own.
Exactly.
And it seems to me that's what a lot of times what happens with dogs is owners just leave them to figure stuff out for themselves.
Yeah, we really read so much into every situation as if the dog sees it exactly as we see it. Oh, I like the chickens. You should like the chickens. What's the matter with you? And then they think that the fact that a dog might want to kill a chicken means it's a vicious dog, a bad animal. And this clouds our ability to problem solve from the dog's point of view. It's natural for a dog to want to kill a chicken.
Because a dog is simply a wolf in hunting mode.
Exactly.
Right? So, and they've all been designed, each breed, to hunt in one way or another.
Yeah, every breed is a slice of the master code. And they still have the whole code, but one part of it really preoccupies them, given all that selective breeding. So every breed is a variation on a theme.
So we'll segue into our next topic. And over the next few months, you'll be watching us raise a puppy. Kevin's way, which is a very unique way and can sometimes look a little bit confusing, and hopefully will make it seem really easy to understand. We just have a really short clip showing the puppy just playing, and then we're going to talk about the way that you raise a puppy and where all those ideas came from. And this is just a little clip for fun, just to getting to know Hero, as she is called. She's so cute. She is so adorable.
That's a pistola.
So to start off with, how did you formulate this way of raising, or where did this? Your way is so different from other people's ways of raising puppies.
Well, I won't even take credit for a lot of it. Maybe the reasoning behind it is new, but I used to import German Shepherds from Germany and in the 70s, and at that time my model was train the puppy, teach them all the lessons, do the house training, the manners training, the no-bite training, and all that kind of stuff. And then I ran into problems with those dogs, and then I started working with the German trainers, and they said too much obedience, too much pack instinct. The dog was too, when things change, the dog doesn't know how to work for itself. That really resonated for me, and I noticed with all these dogs I'm importing from Germany, they lived outside in a kennel behind a breeder's house. They weren't living among people for the first 2 years of their life. I would buy this 2-year-old dog, bring it to America. I'd train it a little bit, and I'd sell it to a family or a police officer, and it was the best dog they ever had. The best family dog, never chewed up anything, never went to the bathroom in this house, didn't leave the yard. And I realized, oh, of course, they never taught it to do those things by not paying attention and putting too much stress on the dog when it wasn't ready to handle it. So through all that kind of work, I realized that what we're really shaping is temperament. And it takes 2 to 3 years to fully evolve temperament into place so that it can deal with stress. We have to protect the dog over that, certainly that first year. We have to make this real petri dish so that we don't give it more than it can handle. And if you think about it, it's exactly the way we raise children. Theoretically, physically, mentally, they can do many things at a younger age than we allow them to do it. They can physically and mentally drive a car at 12 years of age. Out west, you can get a farmer's license to drive on rural roads because the farm's spread out over many, many miles. But you can't drive the car to town.
Right.
That's beyond the emotional capacity of the 12-year-old child. So and then they get their license, but they can't drive with other teenagers until they're 18 or so. So we do this for children all the time. And children can think, and they can plan, and they have mastery of language, and yet we still protect them from their undeveloped temperament. They don't know when they're in over their head. So that's what we have to do with our puppies.
It does seem like we do it with children, but when you start talking to people about raising a puppy this way, it's very confusing for people.
Oh, you know what, just to jump right back in, is people think puppies need mental stimulation. They think they need tons of socialization. They need all this stuff done. But again, if you look back 30, 40 years ago, when people didn't do anything with their dogs, dogs were much better adjusted than they are now. And I've been picking up and delivering dogs from Manhattan since I was a boy with my dad. And New York City dogs were always the easiest dogs to deal with. They were so channeled just by definition because they always had to be walked to the park and back, and there were no play groups, there was no big dog walking things, there's no fenced-in dog runs in the old days.
Right.
Yet those dogs are were so much better adjusted than they are now. And the reason is because people just naturally channeled them. The dog figured it out on his own. He was never in over his head, so he developed a nice calm temperament. Today, dogs are getting so much stimulation that the emotional circuits are frying. And then the dog doesn't have the emotional capacity as an adult to calmly adapt to novelty.
It does seem like there's been a sort of a cultural change where all of a sudden, you know, when I was growing up, people didn't do anything for their dogs. They just got a dog and let it out. And now it's like, oh, the puppy daycare and puppy play groups, and we got to take him everywhere and socialize them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, and that parallels with the trend of thinking of the dog as more than just a dog. It's a part of the family.
Right.
It's like a new child, but it's an animal. And it'd be like, I use the expression, it'd be like looking at your baby and saying, wow, look at that baby. That's more than just a baby.
Right.
It's not good.
It's actually just a baby.
It is just a baby. There's nothing wrong with being just a baby. There's nothing wrong with a dog being just a dog.
So even though all of the way that you raise a puppy makes perfect sense to me, some of these things really are, you know, they raise eyebrows for people because there's this culture that's grown up that's saying, like, you have to bring the puppy everywhere, you have to, you know, do all these things. They're like they're a little vessel, and you have to teach them all the lessons now, or they'll never, ever learn them.
Yeah, that's because we're looking at them as machines. Through modern behaviorism, they are been turned into learning machines. And matter of fact, on the other side of the spectrum, the dominant model, it just sees development as something to be repressed.
Right.
You're the leader and repress their supposed drive to become a leader.
Right.
So that's what passes for emotional development these days, is the repression by an alpha figure. So we're hitting them from both ends of the spectrum now.
Right.
Where it used to be a lot of benign neglect, common wisdom. People kind of had a little more grasp that they were animals and how to treat them as such.
So why this method can seem somewhat draconian to some people, you know, they'll say, you don't have your puppy in the house. And how they cannot grasp that we're not letting the puppy run around. But if I had that puppy running around my house, she would be eating the shoes. She would have already torn it completely up. I mean, she's a spitfire.
The purpose of everything we're having you do with your puppy is to protect your puppy from you.
Right.
Because sooner or later, we're going to hit our threshold. So we got to protect our puppy from that.
Yeah, and I, you know, it wouldn't have taken her long to get to my threshold. I mean, she would have had that whole house upside down. So she has her crate in a sunroom, and she goes from her crate outside into her little protected puppy yard.
Let me throw something else into it. Is if you do normal house training with her, the only reason the dog holds back at a young age is due to fear, not because it figured out through its own temperament, calm inside, energy outside.
Right.
So until she's fully evolved and can give all her energy outdoors, then she'll learn by contrast. I like to use the expression, I never teach my kids not to rob banks.
Right.
Somehow they got it.
Right.
You know, I never taught them not to hit people over the head and take their money when they run out.
Exactly.
Somehow they got that memo.
Right.
Because it's their own nature.
Right. You didn't have to teach them that.
I never taught them not to run up and hug me.
Right.
And I never have ever taught a puppy not to bite me.
Right, and that's another thing that raises...
Somehow they outgrow it.
Somehow, and that's what, you know, people say, how, you know, if she comes up, runs up, and she bites my hand, I just kind of keep it limp, and, you know, obviously I'm going to pick up something else to give her to bite because it hurts. But I never tell her not to bite me. I never confront overbiting. Obviously, I don't encourage it, but if she starts really attacking me, I'll just gently stand up. I'm not confronting her over everything, and so in that way, the same people that think it's very draconian think that it's also extremely permissive, because how I need to be, somehow they feel like she's a little learning machine. If we don't teach her not to bite, she's going to somehow be biting people when she grows up, but they never do. They outgrow it. I mean, do you find that dogs who bite aggressively have most likely been confronted over it as a puppy?
Yeah, all aggression has been taught the dog. The number one source is overstimulation as a puppy, which fries the circuits. Then he can't cope with change. And the second thing is actual house training, correcting, and especially for biting. But it could be over anything, getting into the garbage, so on and so forth.
Well, what I thought was really interesting was that she has already figured out, she goes out of her crate and she goes and she pees on the grass, but she always goes into the tall grass to eliminate, and she's completely taught herself to go in the woods, so she's never going to go in my yard.
Right.
And I didn't teach her anything. I've never said good dog or anything. It's just, as soon as she goes outside, she feels like that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's a good topic we should explore more fully. And
Right,
another
we have more
episode is
time.
how is it possible to house train a dog in the first place?
Right.
And you kind of house train a cat. They're close to the same. They're a social hunter a la dog, so it, you know, lions and prides and all that. So they come close. You can do that, but you can't house train any other animal, not even a chimp.
Well, that's very interesting, and we'll have to talk about that next
Exactly.
time.
And
we'll
why she goes to the high grass. That's interesting.
That's very, very interesting. So we'll be following her development, and everybody can watch as I raise a dog Kevin's way under his tutelage, which I've done before. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Quantum Canine.